Guy Dawson is the managing member of Classy Communications, a full-service media and marketing company. A seasoned businessman who started his first business at age 12, Guy started Classy Communications to help businesses and organizations improve their bottom lines by leveraging the power of mass media. His firm has worked with a diverse list of clients in real estate, publishing, construction, politics, radio and television broadcasting, network marketing, health and wellness, independent films, digital marketing, and a host of nonprofit organizations. Now, let's make some PR connections with your host, Guy Dawson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to PR Connections, the business edition, your solution for business success. My name is Guy Dawson, and I am the managing member of Classy Communications, a media and marketing company. We strive to create massive growth in your business bottom line through mass media marketing. Classy Communications can bring greater recognition to your business or organization with public relations, marketing, publishing, broadcast opportunities, event planning, and more. For a free consultation, please call 702-845-6129 or visit classycommunications.net. PR Connections is a forum where business owners, entrepreneurs, sales professionals, and investors showcase what they do. We share cutting-edge business concepts in public relations, marketing, political activism, investing, and personal development. Our business education series features successful local, national, and international entrepreneurs. Tune in and learn business from the best. This segment of the PR Connections radio show is brought to you by Abco Mini Storage. Do you need to reclaim your garage, or are you looking for a place to store your boat or RV? Rent a storage unit or lot space at Abco Mini Storages anytime in June, July, or August and receive your first month's rent for just $1. No long-term contracts required. Call 702-564-5425 or visit their website, abcostorage.com, to reserve your space. The real estate mogul Don Lehner is off doing something related to real estate today. I think he sits on a couple of pretty prominent boards here in the state, and he is operating in his duties as a realtor today. And so I have another good friend of mine who I've known for years. He is a pretty prominent guy in the business community here in Las Vegas. His name is Danny Vegas. Danny Vegas is a marketing expert and the founder of Danny Vegas Live, a media and business networking conglomerate. He is also the host of Danny Vegas Live, a business-related television show that airs at WCOBM.com every Thursday at 11 a.m. Everyone in Vegas knows Danny Vegas. Welcome to the PR Connections radio show, Danny.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm shocked. You got that all written out and everything.
I know. I got to bring you on right, Danny. You are a networking and business legend in this town. I got to take care of you, brother.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate the invite. You know, you said, hey, come on down to my radio show on KDON. But you got to be there at 8:30 in the morning. I said, oh.
Yeah, I didn't know that you aren't exactly a morning guy, huh, Danny?
Well, you know, the cool thing is during the school year, because I'm a geezer dad, you know, I have young kids still. I'm an old man with young kids. I'm up pretty early getting to the bus stop. But, you know, since we're in summertime, I don't have to get up so early. But you know what? It was no problem, man. I just set the alarm at 7 and snoozed for about a half an hour, got up, took a shower, shaved my face, and drove on down. So it's all good.
Well, I really appreciate you being here, Danny, and it's going to just be me and Danny for 1 hour. We have a lot to talk about. Danny and I, we've been good friends for quite a few years. And, you know, Danny's been putting on these events that just mushroomed at some point, these business networking events. And I don't know where it's like he came out of nowhere because, right, Danny? I mean, this isn't something that you premeditated as if this was like your lifelong path that you were going to be on. It was just all of a sudden Danny Vegas was putting on these networking events, and everybody was saying, you got to go to Danny Vegas's events. I just remember this about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was kind of an amazing story. You know, the how Danny Vegas all came about was really in 2004. I was down in San Diego. I had moved to Vegas. I was down there. I was at a friend's house. We we're in a backyard barbecue, and it was kind of cold, and I said, hey Brian, you got a coat or something? I'm kind of cold. And he grabbed this Don Johnson white jacket from behind the door up on a knob that probably been sitting up there for 20 years, and he goes, "Here you go, Danny Vegas." And that was the first time I heard it. And I said,
Really?
I said, wow, that's kind of cool. Danny Vegas. So I came back to Vegas and I bought the domain name, DannyVegas.com. And it just sat around for, probably 3 years, guy. Just, I got it. It sounded cool. But, I was working my job at the airport, and long story short, the 2009 got me, because of the crash in the economy. I said, well, I guess it's time to make this Danny Vegas thing something. Can't find a job, so I might as well make something work with this Danny Vegas thing. And I was working with this guy, and he had done these luxury events. He was doing luxury events, the planes and the cars. And he goes, what do you want to do, man? I mean, gee whiz, you've been laid off. It's been almost a year now. What are you going to do? And I said, I'd like to do these sundowners, these business networking events. And that's how it got started. September 2010, we had our first networking event at Sedona, which no longer exists anymore.
And I've heard Danny's story many times. Again, we've known each other. We've done quite a bit of broadcasting together through the years. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have Danny on the show is I feel that he fits into the essence of what this show is all about for me in sharing it with the world, in that he is someone who just had an idea and pursued it no matter what. He's taken his licks, kept his brand going, and established himself as a major player in this town.
Well, thank you for the kind words. Certainly the brand has gone through phases. I mean, it's when I used to do events weekly, I think the brand was a little bit more, and the character Danny Vegas a little bit more rock starish than it is now, because I just don't do that many events, and I don't go to too many events anymore. So the brand is out there a lot. People come up to me and say, man, you're everywhere. Well, not really. I'm just everywhere on social media. And, of course, the show that we do on the WCOBM, which, you have a show over there also helps, because, I just put it everywhere. So it goes through transitions. It's been a dysfunctional rock band at times. Sometimes it's run very well, and sometimes I'm like, gee whiz. And it's always been transitioning from one thing to another. But, yeah, it's out there, and a lot of people know about it. That's for sure. We've been blessed on that.
And business networking for me is one of the most powerful tools to develop a business, and you chose that as the platform to get your brand out. What was the benefit of that, putting on those networking events for your brand?
Every week, it literally kept the brand first of mind for a number of years. And I tell clients this all the time, that, branding, making yourself first of mind, unless you jump off a building with a parachute, okay, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes shaking hands, kissing babies, keeping that brand out there. And that's what we did in the beginning. We did a networking event every week, and it was at a different location every week. And that kept everybody hopping. And as soon as the event was over on Tuesday, on Wednesday, we had the next event up, if everything worked out right. And we were off, and I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Danny, we're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, I want to talk about the marketing end of your business. And brand awareness is something that I know you are very familiar with, and I think that the audience will really appreciate the education that two marketing guys are going to give them over the course of this show today. Stay tuned for PR Connections, the Business Edition with Guy Dawson. We'll be back in a few minutes. You are listening to PR Connections, the Business Edition at News Talk KDWN 720 AM and KDWN.com. And the phone lines are open at 702-257-5396. If you have any questions for me or marketing guru and television star, Danny Vegas. Web Design Island is helping business owners and entrepreneurs bring their ideas to life online. Learn more about their service and a la carte options at webdesignisland.com. webdesignisland.com, and I highly recommend Web Design Island as a great service for developing your website. I have been working with Tori Jones for years on my websites, and she has such attention to detail. She works really fast, and she actually does what she says she's going to do, which can be a very rare thing if you've ever tried to get a web designer. Have you ever had that experience, Danny?
I do have a great web designer that I've been working with for years, but yeah, sometimes it can be really kind of a challenge because web designers, they do certain things, and of course we as clients like, well, we want this, and I want rabbits bouncing off the walls on this thing, right? And they're like, what do you think I am here? Rabbits bouncing off the walls of your website? Come on. So it's always a challenge when you deal with the people that actually put the code in and make it work. So if you got a good one, man, to keep her. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. When you get a good web designer, and Tori's very creative, along with, again, being extremely detail-oriented. She has an obsession with websites, kind of how we are obsessed with marketing. That's how Tori is with websites, so I highly recommend Web Design Island. I also wanted to announce an event that is going to be happening with the National Federation of Independent Business. And the National Federation of Independent Business is the largest lobbying organization in North America. It has over 300,000 members, and basically it is composed of small business owners. And this organization represents us in everything related to political activism. So they actually go to Washington to lobby for our rights as small business owners. And it's something that I think is really important for us because most business owners get so consumed with running our businesses, which we have to because that's how we make our money. That's how we provide a service for the world. But a lot of times we don't have time to really understand the politics and all the things that are going on behind the scenes, particularly with legislation that affects our ability to run our businesses. And I have been a member of the NFIB for 2 years, and I have gotten a tremendous amount of value out of learning about who I need to vote for, who's going to support my interests, and we're on election day today, as a business owner. And so I just encourage you all to learn more about this organization. They are actually a partner of this show. Julie Burke is a sales rep out here in Vegas, and she's been with NFIB for about 20 years, and many of you might know her. And she comes on a regular basis and talks about things related to, again, political activism in business. And there's going to be an event today that's going to be held at Scooter's Pub at 6200 South Rainbow for the NFIB. It will be held at 1 o'clock p.m., and there is a big shot who's coming into town, and his name is Kevin Kuhlman, and he's the director of legislative affairs with the NFIB. So he's one of the biggest lobbyists in the National Federation of Independent Business, and you'll get a chance to meet him if you come out to this event today and learn more about what we do at the National Federation of Independent Business. So I just, again, recommend that if you're someone who's in business and you want to learn more about the inner workings of the way that the government relates to small businesses. We have to have people who lobby for our rights just the way that other organizations do. And the NFIB is great for business owners. So, I'd encourage you to learn more about it. You can get in contact with me or show up out at Scooters today at 1 p.m. out on Rainbow near the 215 to meet this big shot with the organization.
Big shot.
He is a big shot. The guy goes in front of Congress. And
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm always in for big shots.
Danny? Yes, Danny's parties are legendary. And the favorite party that I ever went to with Danny, and I know we talk about this all the time, is he did an event at Heartland Mansion.
That's right, December of a couple of years ago.
Down on Charleston and Las Vegas Boulevard. This mansion is in one of the most unlikely places that you would think a mansion would be. I mean, it's in the hood. But it is a fabulous place. Elvis slept there, all these other famous people.
Right. And I remember that event. It was they have an indoor pool, and we had an event there, and you went through the front door, and then you went into the room where they shot Casino, the movie, and then and I remember a lot of people were there that night, and Guy was there, and he had had a person with him that was the belle of the ball, if I remember correctly.
I had a beautiful, beautiful girl, and I mean, the venue was awesome, and the indoor pool, the whole vibe. It was Christmas time.
Right.
Yeah, you outdid yourself with that one, Danny.
Well, I'm glad you like that one. We've done hundreds and hundreds of them over the years, and they do sometimes tend to get a little bit routine, but we usually put on a pretty good show. Our last one was at the Link, the poolside, which we do once a year. We do a poolside event. Our next one is June 28th. Mark this down, all you business cats. June 28th at the Kona Grill at the Fashion Show Mall. Free parking. Just go below the mall to the red zone, and there's free parking. Go up the elevator. You're right there. Right now, there's about 300 RSVPs. I'm sure there'll be between 500 and 600 by the time we're done, and half of those people will show up. So I'm expecting 200 to 300 people at this one, and it should rock.
There was a point that you brought up in the last segment about how critical marketing is to the success of any business. And in my opinion, the success of a business is basically 90% marketing and 10% content.
Well, you and I can tell marketing horror stories forever. Small businesses don't get it, and it's frustrating. I just had a client like, hey, I'm kind of going away for 3 months, so I'm just going to stop marketing for 3 months, and I'll come back when I get back off of vacation. Okay, so all the hard work that we've done to keep you first of mind now is just going to go away, and we got to start all over again. So, yes, I think, I don't know how you have seen it, but it seems like the bigger companies kind of get it. Hey, we need our brand out there all the time, and it's part of the gig and it's part of the deal. Smaller businesses, it's like, well, gee whiz, I spent $500 with you, but I didn't get $500 back. I don't see the actual $100 bills back in my hand. And so now I don't want to do it anymore. And it's the wrong way to think, but, funding certainly determines the game. I don't know how you have come across that and how you've beaten that to where, you tell me what you feel about that.
Well, there is that challenge that small business owners go through in that they know that they need to get their brands out there, and they have this perception that they can't afford to bring in someone to help them with marketing. Right. And that was one of the first things that I discovered when I got my business started in 2008, which was a very challenging time in business. I mean, basically what people do is when they start cutting their budget, the number one thing that they cut is their marketing budget, which there has to be a change in the thought process of people in business, and particularly small business owners, is that should actually be the last thing. If you've got to cut costs, I would look for other ways to cut costs or other ways to be creative in your business where you're not spending as much money. Because if people can't find your business, and that's what marketing produces, it's people being able to find your business. If they can't find your business, you're not going to do business. And it's like you said, it's a thought process that so many small business people have, and I think that they're not prepared a lot of times. A lot of times people get into business and they're really not prepared for what business is all about. They start running it and they may achieve a certain level of success, but they never get themselves to the point to where they can start thinking like these large business people, like you were talking about a minute ago. See, the big businesses, they understand what it takes to be big. Small business owners, and that's why sometimes the small word that we use when it comes to business, I don't like to use it because it keeps people in that mindset that they think small. And eventually they think so small that they kill their business. And that's why so many, from 2008 to 2016, I've seen hundreds of businesses go under. And it's almost always a matter of, well, there are a lot of factors, but one of the biggest factors is that nobody knows that they're out there. So they don't make any money, and then they're gone.
Yeah, it's... And you're so right. I've told many businesses that, listen, there's no difference between you and Coca-Cola. They're bringing in business. They're bringing in money, more money than they put out. Okay, that's what Coca-Cola does. Okay, they just sell their products, And more money comes in than they lay out. That's what a business is. That's the same thing Sadie the basket lady does, okay? The problem is Coca-Cola has the budgets to do the blimps and stuff like this. And this is why social media is so important, Guy. Because, and I say it all the time, there's nothing that Coca-Cola can do on social media that you can't do on social media. Now, yeah, they got someone doing it for them, probably got someone doing it really well, but all they can do is make a Facebook page. All you can do is make a Facebook page. All they do, you can do the same thing. And it's really important that you just continuously every day, and I'm kind of an old school marketer. People just got to see your brand all the time. All the time. Every day.
So simple. It's so simple that people miss it, right, Danny?
They just miss it, and and they're afraid to have someone help them. They don't think they can afford it. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to me, especially when I see an old client who decided, hey, I'm going to do this on my own. And I just watch them struggle. And it's just like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we're going to go to break, Danny. And when we come back, I want to talk more about social media, which is something I know that was huge with your brand. It's huge with mine. And I also want to talk about this television show that you've been developing and all things marketing on the PR Connections show this morning. We will be back in a few minutes. We are talking business on the PR Connections radio show at News Talk, KDWN 720 AM and KDWN.com. We've got a marketing guru in the studio who can teach you a lot of things about making your business more successful, and his name is Danny Vegas, and he'd love to talk to you at 702-257-5396. The Business Connections of Nevada Networking Group builds relationships with business owners with the purpose of networking, sharing, inspiration, motivation, and referral leads among its members. To learn more about its weekly connection meetings, visit businessconnectionsnv.com or call 702-839-8586. And every week I'm always wanting to invite you out there who are entrepreneurs or aspiring to get in business or sales professionals to come on and be a part of PR Connections, the Business Edition. This is an outstanding format that's being broadcast from a cutting-edge radio station with a large number of listeners, and it's an excellent opportunity for you to get the word out about your business. I am always looking for motivated entrepreneurs and business owners who really want to be serious about their business and to expose it to a large audience. We broadcast in 5 states as well as to a worldwide audience on the internet. And so, again, I invite you all. You can get in contact with me at 702-845-6129 if you'd like to come live into the studio or do a call-in and be a part of PR Connections, the Business Edition. And Danny Vegas and I have been talking about the world of marketing and networking. It's something that he and I are very familiar with. And over the last couple of years, we've also been hanging out quite a bit, being the part of the development of it's just something that I think is going to be incredible. It's the World Center of Broadcast Media. It's an internet streaming television network that we both have shows on.
That's right. It is where television meets social media. To me, it's all about, I feel marketing is just distribution. You just have to find ways to distribute your message, either on a billboard or a magazine ad, face-to-face at a networking group, on this radio show. You take your message to the people through distribution, and there's nothing better than fresh video content that's new, is fresh, and distributed through where all the people are, which is social media. It is phenomenal, and I love it, and the shows are great, and it's just a perfect storm for a marketing guy like me.
Danny and I are a couple of the pioneers of that network. I mean, you remember, Danny, when we'd be over at the Flamingo, and there were only 5 of us or 4. I mean, that was the entire network. You remember those days.
I remember those days. I remember during the trial period when you'd come and do your show, and you'd sit down, and the lights would just turn off. And you're like, well, what happened? We don't know. We'll figure it out. Come back next week. But now it's just a raging machine. I just love it. And the shows are distributed through social media, and the segments are are recorded, and they're brought to you on a silver platter. I mean, don't you just love it? I mean, all the people are out there trying to do shows, video shows, not radio shows, that are sitting there trying to cut and slice and production and all that stuff, and they just hitting themselves over the head. WCOBM, you're just like me. You do the show, you wake up in the morning, and the segments are in your inbox, and you're like, wow, that's cool. So just an incredible, incredible thing. We just have to thank the pioneers, Gene Woods and Roxy Davis, and all the people that are a part of that.
They've got a great racetrack, too, out there on Las Vegas Boulevard and Sunset. If you ever want to take your family or your kids or you,
Right.
boy, you can go out and you're on a track. Have you ever ridden in any of those cars,
Yeah, I've
Dan?
done a couple go-kart races. I'm not a go-kart racer, but I have been in a couple. I've gone out there a couple times. My daughter tends to go out there a little bit, so I'll go on Gene Woods Racing Experience. It's one of the top tourist attractions here in Vegas, and that's where the studio is located. And it certainly is a great vibe down there, and there's always something going on. And when you close the door and lock the door and you do your segments and you come on the show, and it, like I said, as a marketing guy, it is a great product to as far as video is concerned and distributing it. It's a great deal.
It's bringing me back business, Danny. I mean, and it's a matter of touches. Like you were saying before, you have to approach your audience, whoever that is, from multiple channels.
That's right.
It's critical, and there's not just one channel that you approach your audience through that works, and so it's consistency. And with us doing these shows, with me doing this broadcast, this radio show on a consistent basis, I'm showing you marketing in action, basically.
That's right.
In doing this, because I'm reaching this audience week after week after week. They're hearing my voice. They're hearing my partners, my friends like Danny on a consistent basis. And I am telling you, it creates business for you. It's just a fact. The more that people see you, the more opportunities you have to do business with them.
And what's amazing to me, and this is what the amazing thing that people have to realize is, we have all these great tools now, Guy. We have internet and phones and blah, blah. I mean, gee whiz. I mean, drones and phones, oh my. But in reality, it's still the same old thing. Those eyeballs have to see your business over and over and over again, whatever medium of distribution you use, to make sure that you are first of mind. Let's take, for example, printer. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say printer?
John.
That's right. John Pennington. Now, John's no longer on my platform. He was on for years. It was a great campaign. But my job was to make sure when people thought printing, what did they think? They thought John Pennington. And I think we did a great job over years because he's a big-time branding guy. Put my brand everywhere, put me in front of my brand, and what happens? Now when people think printing, it's John from AA. And he has gotten to the point where now it's a snowball, and he doesn't have to push the ball down the hill anymore. It's got momentum. But it took years for him to do that. So, and that's where most small businesses don't have. They don't have the patience, and they to take that brand and make it a first of mind name.
I agree, and I think part of it, Danny, is that we live in a society which is very microwave-oriented.
Right.
And very short-term, fast, and that tendency to think like that. When you're an entrepreneur or an aspiring business owner, that type of thinking is a death note for you.
Right.
Because there's nothing that's fast about developing a business. I mean, it is a process. It's wonderful. I enjoy it. I've been doing it ever since I was a kid. I mean, every aspect of it, I enjoy doing it. But I also understand that everything I'm doing, I'm working towards things in my business, and so are you, Danny,
That's right.
that sometimes aren't going to reveal themselves for 5 years.
That's right.
And so that's one of the challenges that I think a lot of people have when they get in business is they just don't understand that you're making choices right now that you might not see an impact. It's much different than being an employee when you show up on your job, you do the job, you get a paycheck at the end of the week. This is a completely different mindset. You're not going to have that instant gratification always in business.
That's right. And a lot of the, I use the analogy all the time, and Gene Woods from Gene Woods Racing Experience kind of got me on that. I may have said it to you, don't get out of your race car, okay? The race car at your business, Your customers are the stickers that are on the race car. You're going around the track as fast as you can because that's what your clients, that's what your customers want. What do you got to do? Some of our small business friends, I call it not diversification, I call it worsification. They'll start another project that literally takes the race car off the track, parks it, stops it, gets out, and goes do something else that you think is going to encompass or enhance or do something to bring in revenue or whatever. And all you've done is stuck that $1 million race car in a parking lot with all the stickers on it that people want to see, your clients that want to see, all the people in the stands that want to see you race around, and it's sitting there so you can go work on something else. I see it all the time. It just drives me nuts. Stay in your race car business, people. Now, there's nothing, and if you're going to do something else, does it work on your race car? Can you keep driving your race car and it just works? It's like, oh, okay, it's just a small tweak that we're going to put on the motor to make the race car go faster.
Yeah, Danny, we're going to take our last break and come back and do a little masterminding. That's what the last segment of the show is. We're going to talk about things that we feel can help a business right away through marketing. So you want to stay tuned for the last segment of the show. I have Danny Vegas in the studio of PR Connections, the Business Edition. PR Connections, the Business Edition, is coming to you live at News Talk, KDWN 720 AM and KDWN.com. And the phone lines are still open at 702-257-5396 if you have any questions for me or marketing guru Danny Vegas. Classic Communications is partnering with Constant Contact, the solution for small business email and social media marketing. We can help you be a better marketer and keep you connected with the contacts in your database. Call us at 702-845-6129. I also have another announcement that I'd like to make about a business series that's being held down at the North Las Vegas City Hall, and it's actually being sponsored by Congressman Crescent Hardy. And this is a great series. As a matter of fact, they're running it right now during this show. They have segments every Tuesday throughout the summer where they talk about things related to business. And I think that getting that type of education, if you're in business or if you're wanting to get in, is really important. And it's from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock in the mornings, and then you can, if you're someone maybe who works during the day and you want to go in the evening, you can go from 4 to 7 o'clock in the evenings, and it is down at North Las Vegas City Hall. It's a beautiful building. The whole facility is just totally renovated, wonderful environment to be in, and there's some pretty heavy-hitting people who are involved in this project that Crescent Hardy is putting on. And so again, we're the platform of this show is we want to get cutting-edge business information out, specifically in Las Vegas, and we have a larger format that we're expanding to where we want to share these messages with the entire country and the entire world. And so, take advantage of these opportunities to learn more about how to be more effective in business. Show up for these events. You can do networking. I met some great people at the event that I went to a couple of weeks ago that we're going to be doing some business together. So take advantage of these events. Again, they're every Tuesday down at the North Las Vegas City Hall. And Danny Vegas and I have been talking a lot about marketing and branding over the course of the last hour. Danny, if you had 5 tips that you wanted to give to a person who's got a business that will help them be more effective in their marketing, what would they be?
5 tips. Number one, I think is so important today is you need to establish a social media platform. A lot of older folks don't seem to think that it's important, but you have to remember social media is distribution. And it's a distribution way to build a fan base and build a way to distribute your message, probably the most cost-effective way there is like we did Facebook Live, okay? We just did a Facebook Live thing, and that'll go out on social media, and people will comment on it and like it and share it. I think that's number one, is to establish a good social media platform. There are social media coordinators out there. I think you need to just get in there and learn how to do it yourself for the most part. When you're so busy, you can't do it correctly anymore, then you might want to talk about someone doing your social media for you. That's number one. Number two, if you're a small business just getting out, you have to commit yourself to getting out there, shaking hands, and kissing babies. You have to network. Okay, you have to go out, because what you do there is, what is networking? It is distribution through face-to-face. It's just, networking is distribution of a different way. And it is one of the most cost-effective ways to get your message out there. You know, there's plenty of, you just talked about a networking event. There's all kinds of business networking events out there. There's all kinds of business groups out there that you can use to start building those relationships like Guy and I have. We have a relationship that's been going on for years and years and years. You need people like that who have known you and your business for a period of time. Why? Because then you are first of mind. Those are really if I'm a new business and I'm just starting out, maybe it's a franchise, maybe it's not, people have to know about your business. Social media and a good social media platform and a good social media strategy. I don't know if you've heard of Sushi Burrito. I don't know if you've heard of this business or not, but let me tell you something. They are packed every day. You can't even get in there anymore to get something to eat. And it's all social media driven. Reviews. Millennials are huge on reviews. That's probably number 3. If you are a business, especially any type of retail business, that reviews are huge to millennials. If you're a flower shop, they're going to look at your reviews. Review management, as Nicole Taylor Sharp calls it, reputation management, that is extremely huge nowadays, especially if you're a business that deals with, here in Las Vegas, deals with tourists. All the tourists look at reviews. All the tourists look at the different things. If they're coming to town, what's there to do in Vegas? Oh, go-karts. Oh, well, here's 3 go-kart tracks. Oh, look at the reviews on this one. Wow. Oh, look at the reviews on that. Oh, good reviews. Okay, cool. Good price. Oh, it's giving me a little tip. Okay, I'm going there. So that would be number 3 to me. So real fast, it would be build a social media platform that is good and use the right social media policies and procedures. Second would be networking. Get out there and network. Get out there and shake some hands. Join some groups. Go to different networking events. There's different ones out there. Mine is kind of like it's like a concert. You know, we just have a lot of people in the room, really not a lot of structure. You just go in there and start shaking hands and exchanging cards. That's basically it. I'm a one-man show. I can't have a lot of process. But there are some great groups out there. BCN's a great group. The lead team's a great group. This is where you can get into the chapter models. Those are great. All kinds of stuff going on. And then number 3, you got to start thinking about the reviews that people are giving your business, because that's huge. I'm telling you, Guy, it's bigger than a lot of people think, especially when it comes to millennials and shopping and where they're going to shop. They always look at the reviews. So that would be number 3. Number 4, as far as marketing, you got to think old school in a way. You just got to listen. You got to remember, for someone to come into my business, they literally got to see my brand or my business or something at least 10 times. They have to see it. They have to drive by it. And the more times they see it, the sooner they're going to act upon it. It's the old school model that continuously works. And that's why bigger companies, what do? They buy a billboard campaign. Most small businesses can't afford a billboard campaign. But that's how these high-priced lawyers that you see everywhere, that's how they get the name recognition. That's how they get the first of mind, is because everywhere you drive, you see one of these 3 or 4 lawyers or law firms that continuously bombard us with advertising through billboards or radio or TV. So we can't do that as a small business. That's why we use our social media and build our distribution network through social media. But at the same time, you got to remember, every friend, every like, that is a new Pony Express stop that someone knows about your business and knows about your brand. So that's 4. I don't know if we can come up with a 5th one.
One more. You got one more.
One more. So I would say, number 4 would be consistency. Number 5, I'd say you gotta believe in you, man. You gotta believe in you. You got to believe that you are the best printer in this town. You're the best plumber in this town. You got to create value with your product. You have to be your brand. That's number 5. You have to be your brand. You have to live it. John Pennington's a great example. He is his brand. You can't look at John and not think of AA. You can't see a AA logo and not think of John, okay? Danny Vegas, hey, Danny Vegas, the logo, you're going to think Danny Vegas, the character. You see me, the character. What are you going to do? You're going to think Danny Vegas, the logo. So we are our brands. Some people like to stay behind their brands, and that's the way it works. That's the way they like it. But to me, you are your brand. Guy Dawson is PR Connections. PR Connections is Guy Dawson. That's number 5.
That's some great information that you shared, Danny. And the thing that I would like to add to it as a real important thing to be successful in business is that you have to focus. I love the whole get in the car thing that you talked about. And Danny, will you plug your next event? We're near the end of the show.
June 28th at Kona Grill, 6:30 to 8:30. Hey, just suit up and show up. You don't need to bring anything. Bring your cards, bring yourself, bring your story. Just be there and just dive in.
Thank you for listening to PR Connections, the business edition, and we would like to invite you to like us on Facebook. Also, go to the website classycommunications.net for more information about our business. And I hope that all your business deals are good ones, and we will see you next week.